Welcome. This is AllMinucOne Quick Shots. How we doing, folks? Today, I want to talk about Kimberly Klacik, the young lady running for the congressional seat, the former congressional seat of the late Elijah Cummings in Baltimore. Now, I'm a Maryland native. I'm not from the Baltimore area, but I have spent many a days in Baltimore in my youth. I worked there many a times, and I can tell you that the city is in a very, very bad state. It has been for a very long time. According to Kimberly, the Inner Harbor, one of the few very nice areas, is completely decimated now, and that's a shame. It's very pretty there, very beautiful, and lots of activities to do, and it's relatively safe in that area. Most of the city, however, is horrible. So if you haven't seen this ad yet, it's gone viral in the past. I'm going to play it for you real quick.
Do you care about Black lives? The people that run Baltimore don't. I can prove it. Walk with me. They don't want you to see this. I'm Kim Klacik. This is Baltimore, the real Baltimore. This is the reality for Black people every single day.
That is
Crumbling
everywhere
infrastructure,
in Baltimore.
abandoned homes, poverty, and crime. Baltimore has been run by the Democrat Party for 53 years. What is the result of their decades of leadership? Baltimore is one of the top 5 most dangerous cities in America.
Back in the 1990s, there was a TV series called Homicide: Life on the Streets. It was shot live on location in Baltimore. At the time, Baltimore was competing with Washington, D.C. for the murder capital of the United States. They are both still in the top 10. Now, D.C. is relatively safe. It's only a certain area. And most people know where that's at, on the east side. But Baltimore is... essentially, you have to get out of the city center and up to the north side. I think some areas in the south side are all right. But it's horrible there, folks. Look at this. Look at what she's walking through.
The murder rate in Baltimore is 10 times the U.S. average. The Baltimore poverty rate is over 20%. Homicide, drug, and alcohol deaths are skyrocketing in our city. Do you believe Black Lives Matter? I do. The vast majority of crime in Baltimore is perpetrated against Black people, who make up 60% of the population. So why don't we care about our communities? The Democrat Party have betrayed the Black people of Baltimore. If the politicians walked the streets like I do, they would see exactly how their policies and corruption affects us. But they don't want to see it. They don't want you to see this. Go to any Baltimore neighborhood and ask this question. Do you want to defund the police?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
I had 3 sons killed in Baltimore City. And I think if we defund the police officer, it's going to be worse than that. So no, I'm opposed to that.
What are you going to defund the police for? Why? How do you defend your city, your community? Families are losing people.
It's not just Baltimore. The worst place for a Black person to live in America is a Democrat-controlled city. It's 2020.
Folks, this is not propaganda either. I know that those who may listen to this, who are on the left, who are Democrats, that are proud, staunch Democrats. My family's been Democrats, my parents before that, whatever. I don't care. You have your head in the sand. You have your head in the sand because you're being tribal. This lady was a Democrat herself. She is now going to the Republicans. And she was on The View recently and got backlash for being a Republican, because how dare you, Black person, how dare you be a Republican? That's what goes on. That's what goes on from the Democrats. As Larry Elder just made a movie called Uncle Tom. That's what you get called. You get called a coon. You get called all kinds of racial slurs because you don't think the way you're supposed to think. This comes from also the party of slavery, of segregation, of Jim Crow, of voter suppression. This is their history. And the parties did not switch, folks. Now, I'm not sitting here rooting for the Republicans. I got a lot of issues with Republicans as well, nor do I like party politics in general. Anyways, I'm going to let this play out, and then I'm going to show you another video she just put out.
Name a blue city where black people's lives have gotten better. Try. I'll wait. Look at this. How are children supposed to live here and play here? Democrats think black people are stupid. They think they can control us forever, that we won't demand better and that we'll keep voting for them forever, despite what they've done to our families and our communities. Are they right? I'm Kim Klacik, and I'm running for Congress because I actually care about black lives. All black lives matter. Our communities matter. Baltimore matters. And black people don't have to vote Democrat.
Honestly, I don't know why anyone would vote for the Democratic Party at this point. They have completely discredited themselves. And the only thing that they do is again, they say, oh, you just must be a horrible person because you want to be a Republican, or you vote. Republicans don't care. They don't care about the working man. What propagandistic nonsense. And again, Joy Behart got after Kimberly, and you can go look that clip up yourself. But she kind of reacted, and was like, okay, Joy, blackface Joy. And she's like, I've never done that. I never did that. Yeah, you absolutely did. And, Whoopi Goldberg, who was not on the show then, but who's been on the show and been critical of Trump and Republicans, has been seen with Ted Danzig and blackface. It's just a bunch of hypocritical, nonsensical outrage. But anyways, this ad is amazing. It is great. It is so good. And the reason why is because there she showed you the problems, or some problems. Here she shows you the change.
Do you care about black lives? I do. And unlike the people that currently run Baltimore, I actually have a plan to make life better for black people here. Walk with me. I want you to see this. I'm Kim Klacik. This is Baltimore, the real Baltimore. This city was once among the most prosperous, populated, and powerful cities in America. So what happened? Our leaders abandoned us and Baltimore fell into ruin. But it doesn't have to be this way. None of this has to be this way. A broken Baltimore does not have to be our future. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I see the city differently.
I walk the streets of Baltimore and see what could be. I want you to see what I see. I see Baltimore that picks up trash. There are piles of garbage all around Baltimore.
Do you recall when Trump went after Elijah Cummings before he passed and said something about his district being full of trash and whatever else, and the media went crazy and went after Trump and everything else? And then Trump, some random guy who's a Trump supporter, organized people to go out in the street and to clean things up. And the media then smeared him. See, this isn't about what's right. This isn't about taking care of people. This isn't about governing correctly or leadership. This is about power, folks. And if you're a Democrat, you have your head up your butt if you do not think that it is not about power. It is all about power, and you are just a pawn in their little power scheme.
It makes life unsafe for our families. I'll work with city leaders to get Baltimore's Solid Waste Bureau the resources it needs to take out the trash.
Our streets should be a reflection of our leaders. Clean, not dirty.
Much of our trash gathers in abandoned homes. There are over 17,000 abandoned buildings in Baltimore. They are a scar on the face of our city.
I will support tax credits and incentive programs to give residents a chance to buy and rehabilitate these homes. Everyone deserves a safe community and a chance at home ownership. Let's put the charm back in Charm City.
Who will live in these homes? The newly employed constituents of Baltimore City. This district needs more jobs. The best way to get them is by having businesses invest in our community. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act gives federal tax incentive to drive private investment into opportunity zones just like Baltimore.
By the way, folks, when businesses invest, that is called gentrification. The same thing that BLM and Antifa and all the crazy left go against all of the time. Gentrification does not displace people. It displaces about 1% to 2% of people. And those people are usually the people who would have abandoned these homes or whatever else in the first place. 17,000 in a city of about 600,000 is not a lot. Now, I don't know if those numbers are quite accurate, 600,000, but the last I looked, that was Baltimore's population. But it's not just the abandoned homes. It's the dilapidated homes. It is just the state of nastiness of Baltimore. It is the infrastructure. It is all of that trash that you saw. It is the constant gun violence and deaths. Every week, someone dies, more than someone dies, in Baltimore. It is constant, much like in Chicago. It's a no-brainer, folks. It's a no-brainer.
Who will work in all of these new jobs if we don't have an educated workforce? 9 out of 10 black boys in Baltimore are not reading at grade level. Over a dozen high schools in Baltimore have zero students proficient in math. This is a tragedy. We can end the school to prison pipeline with school choice, providing parents with options to escape schools,
which the Democrats are against because it goes against the teachers' union,
that do not serve our children.
Let's make Baltimore better for our kids. Isn't that
the Democrats would rather have the union empowered than to teach children, than actually allow them to be educated. They can read and write and do math, basic skills that are needed for them to have a good job. They would rather protect the union than give the parents the choice, the option to send their kids to good schools.
the point? That's my vision for Baltimore. The corrupt leaders hate it. They attack me for taking a stand, for wanting better for our people, our children, our communities. But I'm not the only one who wants better.
Tens of millions of you have shared the struggle of Black people in Baltimore. You lifted our voices. You cared about our Black lives more than our own Democrat leaders. They have done nothing for us. Now they can't hide. It's time for change. We are that change.
I'm Kim Klacik, and I'm running for Congress because I actually care about Black lives. All Black lives matter. Our communities matter. We matter. And Baltimore doesn't have to vote Democrat.
All right, guys. So the Democrats are more concerned, or the elitist or whatever, about what letter you have beside your name than what you will actually do for people. They're more worried about power. They're more worried about their authority and essentially maintaining the status quo. And thank God for people like Kim. I really hope that she wins in this election. It's hard to say with all the rigging that is probably going to be going on. And again, you know, you guys watch too much mainstream news if you think that that's on the Republican side. The Republicans are saying, let's just have normal votes. DeSantis just basically got rid of all coronavirus restrictions in Florida. And I'm going to make a video about that. But I do have a live stream to get to here in a little bit. If you guys want to go over to DLive at 3 p.m. today, ends_justify_memes. We'll be having a special guest. Otherwise, catch it on the replay, the ends justify the memes. But with all that, folks, I am out of here. This has been all -1 quick shots, and I wish you all well.